Hey Stampers, Diane Dimich here with DDStamps.com, and today I'm going to show you how to do this card, using some of Stampin' Up's Blendabilities and also the Love is Kindness stamp set. This is a great individual stamp. There's so much you can do with it, it's amazing. Let's get started. So to begin with, you're going to start with a card base of baked brown sugar, which is 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. So you fold it in half, and that's how you get your base for your card. And then the next layer is a piece of some of our Newsprint Designer Series paper, and this is actually cut 4 by 5 1/4. And what I did with this one is I came in with a sponge and some of that baked brown sugar and just went ahead and just sponged ink over the top of it. And all that was doing was just kind of aging my paper. I didn't care for the boldness of the black print with my card, and so I just sponged some ink over the top of that just to distress it a little bit, make it look a little aged. And I'm going to add this using some snail to the base of my card. Okay, and so then I came in with these two pieces, and this is actually a piece of Wild Wasabi, because that's the same color as the Blendabilities, and it's 4 1/4 by 2 3/4, and then the piece that I'm going to layer with that is 2.5 by 4, and so that gives me a nice even edge all the way around my cardstock when I layer those two together. But we're going to start with this one. Now normally what I have you use with the Blendabilities is the black Memento ink, which looks like this. But today, and we're going to use the baked brown sugar. And so I'm going to go ahead and ink up that stamp in that baked brown sugar and stamp it onto my piece of very vanilla cardstock. And you'll see you get a lighter image. I like the look of that. I just like the look of that lighter brown. And there are several different kinds of inks that Stampin' Up! Carries. And I will post it onto my website so that you can go ahead and go get a PDF with all the different inks that you can use. There's like 25, there's a lot. So it just gives a different look to your image as you're using your Blendabilities. Now to begin with, I'm going to come in with pink Pirouette. And Blendabilities are alcohol-based markers, so they will dry quickly, but you can use them on anything. So you can use them on metal, you can plastic, anything will take the ink. The Blendabilities come with 3 different colors in the pack, but they're all pink Pirouette. It's just a light, a medium, and a dark. And so one of these coordinates with our cardstock. It's not necessarily always the middle one or always the same one. And so, but how I do this is I'm going to come in with my lightest ink, and I'm just going to go ahead using that brush tip, and you can see where I'm just adding some ink onto the petals of my flower, and I'm not totally getting it covered in. You don't need to, because as we layer color onto this, eventually they will get colored in. So I go ahead and do my lightest ink, and then I'm going to come in with the medium, and this one's going to go kind of the same thing, only about 2/3 up, my tulip. So you just color 2/3 up. And then the very last one is your darkest color, and that one's just going to go like 1/3 up the tulip. And with the Blendabilities, they have a tendency to bleed into themselves and do a lot of the work for you. Looks like I forgot the medium on that tulip right there, so I'm going to go ahead and add that in now. And if you see like you have a stark line anywhere, you can go ahead with that next color and just kind of blend in that darkest color just a little bit more. You don't want to get too carried away or you'll start to bleed outside your lines of your image. But it's just a really quick way to get those tulips with some dimension on them. So that was pink Pirouette, and then the next color that I'm coming in with is Wild Wasabi. These are 2 new colors to Stampin' Up! Within this month, and so you've got your light, your medium, and your dark. And again, I'm going to start with my lightest color, and this time I'm going to use the bullet end because these stems are pretty tiny, and I'm just going to go ahead and add some color onto all my stems. And again, I don't have to make sure that every stem has full color to it. There can be some white spots because I'm going to come in with the medium marker and add in some more ink. And so eventually I'll have all the spots covered. And this time I'm just going to come in with the medium. And I'm not going to do the dark because these stems, there's so many of them. I just don't think you need that color too. So by just adding in a little bit of the medium, it just gives those stems some dimension. And I'll do a few down here. And that really blends in nicely. And then I can come back in, and if I've got some white spots that I'm not really sure I like, I can just go ahead and add a little bit more ink. So there you have it, a very quick way to color in with the Blendabilities using other inks besides Memento. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and you'll see that when you're using the Blendabilities, it does bleed through on the back of your cardstock. And with Stampin' Up's Blendabilities, I've found that the best cardstocks to use are the Very Vanilla and the Whisper White. So once I have that on there, then I'm going to take half of a doily. And these are our doilies. They come in a full round circle. I just chop them in half. And this time I'm coming in with Blushing Bride to go ahead and sponge some color on here. And I know it's not the same color pink as this was, but what I found with our pink Pirouette ink is that it was just a little bit too light. It didn't show up very well with the doily. It didn't give it enough color that people even could see that it was pink. So that's why I went with the Blushing Bride, and it coordinates well with the darker colors of the pink Pirouette Blendabilities. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some pink to this with my sponge, and then come back in with my card, add a little adhesive, add this to my card base, and then come in with my image and add that on there. And then the last thing I did is I came in with some of our bakers, or our baked brown sugar twine, and I'm just going to make a loop and then make another loop and tie that off into a bow, and then I can go ahead and adjust my strings so that the bow is exactly what I need. Make sure it's nice and tight. And I'll trim those up. And that's actually going to get added onto the card base with glue dot. So I'll pull that back. I usually add my bows to the glue dot and then pick it up that way because it's easier. And just put that to the middle of my card. And there you have it. One of the things I did with this is I took the inside of that card and I layered another piece of Very Vanilla, stamped the image down here in the corner, and colored it just the same. That way I have a great place to write my sentiment, or type or stamp a sentiment or write in there without having to write on the dark cardstock. So I hope you like that card. Have a great day. Thanks.